Now today we want to solve one more problem where the graphical representation of signals are not so easy, not very simple, of very simple type. Let's see the problem. Perform convolution between xt and gt, where now xt equal to e to the power t, t is in between 0 and 1, e to the power 2 minus t, t is in between 1 and 2, and 0 elsewhere. Okay, and gt equal to e to the power minus t, where t is in between 0 and 4 and is 0 otherwise. Okay, so we want to plot first x lambda versus lambda and g lambda versus lambda, just by replacing t with lambda in both the functions. So our x lambda versus lambda. Now between 0 to 1 it is e to the power t. It's at t equal to 0 it will be 1. So it starts with 1 and up to t equal to 1 it is that value. Okay, so it is 1 and it is 2, and that value is, it is e. E is, 2.718, all these things, so it's more than 2. Okay, and that graph is, it is e to the power lambda. E to the power lambda, that graph. Okay, so it is e to the power lambda. And then e to the power 2 minus t between 1 and 2.
স্যার ক্যামেরাটা একটু জুম আউট করবেন, খুবই জুম ইন হয়ে গেছে। ওকে স্যার, ওকে স্যার।
So it is between 1 and 2, it is e to the power 2 minus lambda. So when lambda here, lambda equal to 2, it is just 1 again. So 2 minus 2. So that is x lambda. Again, when we plot g lambda versus lambda, it is between 0 to 4. So it starts with 1, obviously. So it is e to the power minus lambda. Now in convolution, which function should be taken as the first function and which one as second? I already told you that the function that looks relatively simple should be taken as a second function. Why? Because the second function is undergoing so many steps, different steps. Okay, so our convolution phi t, if we write it, so better that we take g lambda as the second function, because it is simple in nature, and it will be easy for us to apply different steps. So it will be something like x lambda g t minus lambda, okay, d lambda, minus infinity to plus infinity. So this is our second function. Okay, as G lambda is simple in nature. So that is the pattern, simple in nature. Now, so first we apply time reversal. So next will be we plot G minus lambda versus lambda. Just it will be flipped in the other side, negative side. So it's 1, it is -4, that is G minus lambda. Clear? Then we apply, add one T. G T minus lambda. So it will be minus, we are adding plus T with that pattern. So it will be, okay, so if we put it, it will be something like that. So it is 0 plus T, so it will be T. It will be -4 plus T, that one. Clear? So it is that one. So we can write it, what is that pattern? Just lambda will be replaced by minus lambda e to the power lambda. And here we are putting it, this particular thing. Okay. So this is our pattern. And next what we do, first we want to identify the region of overlapping in that function. So our case 1. Case 1. So first we draw both the functions. So it is 0, 1, 2, lambda. Okay, this part is, it is e to the power lambda, and it is e to the power 2 minus lambda. So that function actually is our x lambda. Okay, and it is 1. Now our gt minus lambda. So it will be that one, t minus 4 plus t, this one. So this is the region of overlap. This is the region of overlap. Clear? Note that what is the condition of overlap? The condition is that when so overlapping, this overlapping is possible. It's a partial overlapping, obviously. When -4 plus t is less than 0, this edge, trailing edge, so this is our function g lambda actually, g t minus lambda. So when this function g, its trailing edge is left to 0 and its leading edge at t will be right to 0. It should be greater than 0. Okay, but note that it's that there's only the t remaining greater than 0 is not the sufficient condition, because t may be here, 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 here. Even when there is a partial overlapping towards the right side of 1, there also t will remain greater than 0 throughout its journey. So t greater than 0 is not the only one condition. So it will be, t should be actually, okay, greater than 0 and less than 1. It should be there. And t should be greater than 0 and less than 1. Clear? Therefore, what we get here, t is less than 4 and t should be in between 0 and 1. Note that out of this, which condition is to be taken here? Now, t less than 4 is automatically satisfied in that range. So this is not the sufficient condition. So finally, what we have to write? T should be in between 0 and 1. So you put here equality sign here and here should be better. So t should be in between 0 and 1.
স্যার এই
Okay.
জায়গাটা একটু আরেকবার বোঝাবেন কেন মানে এই
For
0 to
that
1 নিচ্ছে?
function, if the second function g, okay, is even when is coming here, that is its leading edge is right to 1, means it is looking this way and that way, then also t will remain greater than 0.
Yes sir.
Will remain greater than 0. So simply t greater than 0 is not the sufficient condition. The condition is that t should be greater than 0 and less than 1. Then only there will have a partial overlap. Here. And another
sir.
condition will be there. -4 plus t. This should be less than 0. It should be negative side. But note that since this function has a longer stretch, its width is much larger, then even when this t point comes right to 1, in between 1 and 2, then also its trailing edge will be in the negative side of 0. So -4 plus t less than 0, okay, that condition will be maintained even when t is greater than 1, because its width is much larger. So when it is shifted that way, this point will still be negative. Okay, so -4 plus t less than 0 is a necessary condition, but not the sufficient condition. Okay, but I can advise you one thing, that instead of judging it, okay, conceptually you can do the things in a mechanical way also. First, you note down all the conditions. First, like that, this point should be left to 0. You write here. Okay, you write t greater than 0. Then you write t less than 1. All these things you write. Then identify that which will be actually the intersection of all the ranges, or which will be the common condition that is satisfied everywhere. The common condition is that this one, that when t is in between 0 and 1, our condition will be satisfied. When t is greater than 0 and less than 1, then that condition is automatically satisfied. So this condition is sufficient. But when t less than 4, then that condition may not be satisfied. Because when t is equal to 3, greater than 3, less than 3, then also it will not be satisfied, but these will be satisfied. So when all the condition will be satisfied, identify that condition. All the condition will be satisfied when we consider only this particular inequality. Okay.
স্যার
So instead
স্যার
of thinking,
এখানে হ্যাঁ স্যার এখানে যে গ্রাফটা যে ওভারল্যাপিং এখানে যেটা ড্র করলেন, এখানে জি অফ টি মাইনাস ল্যামডা এট পয়েন্ট টি, তো এর ভ্যালুটা 1, তাহলে এখানে 1 এর উপরে গ্রাফটা তো বোধহয় ঠিক হলো না।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ওটা নিচে হবে, ওটা মনে হয় নিচে হবে।
right. It's my mistake. So actually it should be going downward, actually it will be plotted downward this way. Okay, but don't worry, here the values are not important in our context. The important is I am not erasing it now, deleting it, I am not drawing it. You are right, but that's not important. When we compute our integration, it will be automatically taken care of. Okay, so I am not rewriting it. Now, once we know this particular thing, then now what is the point here? Better we identify that one also. It will be e to the power minus t minus lambda. So that particular point. So here also this is e to the power minus t minus lambda. So this particular point will be there. Okay. So once we know this thing, now we can just integrate it. So what is our phi t? Following that, the thing is that in the phi t convolution, what is the overlapping point? It is in between 0 and t. It is the 0 and t. So our phi t, I go to the next page. Phi t integration, okay, 0 to t. 0 to t. Now our x lambda is what? Our x lambda here in that particular range is e to the power lambda. So it is x lambda means e to the power lambda. Okay, better I write. Okay, just 1 minute. So better I write the original expression minus infinity to plus infinity x lambda g t minus lambda d lambda. Then I write 0 to t x lambda means e to the power lambda and g t minus lambda is this particular thing e to the power minus t minus lambda d lambda. That particular expression. Now here we can put e to the power minus t outside. So it will be e to the power, okay, 2 lambda d lambda. So it is a simple integration. Okay, 0 to t. Okay, so we can write it e to the power minus t. So e to the power 2t minus 1 is, or we can write it half of, okay, e to the power t minus e to the power minus t. Okay, and what is our range? Therefore, we can write our phi t equal to half of e to the power t minus e to the power minus t. And what is the range of t? The range of t is already there. It is this particular thing. T is in between 0 and 1. T in between 0 and 1. So it's relation 1. Next, or next is case 2. Okay. In case 2, again we are drawing it. So it's 1, 2, it is e to the power lambda, e to the power 2 minus lambda, that function is x lambda. And our second function is this one. What is its width? This. It is t. So some overlapping is there. It is minus 4 plus t. And that function is g t minus lambda or e to the power minus t minus lambda. Okay. So our overlapping is for a longer stretch. Overlapping. The overlapping is possible when at one condition is minus 4 plus t is as usual less than 0 and t should be greater than 1 and less than 2. Okay, so from that what we can get t less than 4. But t less than 4 is automatically satisfied in that thing. But when it is satisfied, it may not be satisfied. So, and ultimately that condition is
greater than equal to 1 হবে না?
Now I'm coming to that point. 1 and 2. Now in the previous case, our equality was substituted in the lower limit. So here also we are substituting it. So in that case, it will be equal to, it is equal to. We are putting equality in our last class also. We just inserted equality in that way because in that manner, the equality sign will be inserted in a consistent manner. So that's why we're substituting it at a later stage. So that is our condition. Next, once we know this thing, then what will be our convolution? Now I write it in the next page. Number 3. So phi t, our first expression is as usual. You may write, may not write. It really does not matter. So our integration will be in between 0 to t here also. But between 0 to 1, one function of x, and 1 to t, another function of x. So one integration will be that between 0 to 1, one function, and then 1 to t, another function. Okay, 0 to 1, one function of x, and 1 to t, another function of x. But in the throughout its range, the function g remains same. Its definition is only just represented by one function. So between 0 to 1, it is e to the power lambda. So it is e to the power lambda. And g is e to the power minus t minus lambda. That part remains same. And here for the second part, our x is e to the power 2 minus lambda, 1 to t. So e to the power 2 minus lambda. For the second function, it is same, d lambda. Okay. So if you integrate it, now it is e to the power minus t 0 to 1 e to the power 2 lambda d lambda plus here also e to the power minus t to be kept in the outside, and e to the power 2 minus t here. E to the power 2 minus t here and 1 to t. So it is e to the power plus lambda minus lambda. It cancels. So ultimately what? E to the power minus lambda and e to the power plus lambda. So there is nothing else. So it is simply d lambda, I think. Isn't it? Is it correct? I think it's okay. So it is e to the power minus t e to the power 2 lambda by 2 and 2 it is lambda 1 to t. So it is that, and it is t minus 1. Okay. So you put e to the power minus t outside. So it will be what? It is just one. There is a mistake. It will be not t. It is e square minus 1 by 2 plus e square t minus 1. So that is our final result. So our phi t equal to the power minus t t is in between 1 and 2. It's relation 2. Okay. Next is case 3. In case 3, now what is its stretch? Stretch is 2. So if we consider that like that, minus 4 plus t, and this is t. So it is g t minus lambda. It is e to the power minus t minus lambda, and that function is x lambda. So it's like that, and it is e to the power lambda it is e to the power 2 minus lambda. Okay, so that is thing. So our overlapping is between 0 to 2. Overlapping is between 0 to 2. Clear? Now, so the overlap is possible when minus 4 plus t is less than 0, okay, and t is greater than 2. Okay, therefore, what we can write, t is in between 2 and 4. Now we put equality here, so it will be here. That is our condition. T is right to 2, the leading edge of the first function, and the trailing edge will be left to the trailing edge of the first function, like that. So what will be our phi t then? Convolution complete. I go to the next page. Page number 4. It is x lambda gt minus lambda d lambda as usual. Now our overlap stretch is 0 to 1 and 1 to 2. Two different functions of x. So it will be 0 to 1 and 1 to 2. Between 0 to 1, our x lambda is e to the power lambda. Okay, and for gt is e to the power minus t lambda, t minus lambda. For the second part, it will be e to the power 2 minus lambda. You see it is e to the power lambda first, then e to the power 2 minus lambda for the first function. And it is e to the power minus t minus lambda d lambda. Okay. So again we put it, take e to the power minus t outside, 0 to 1, e to the power lambda, e to the power 2 lambda d lambda, plus again e to the power minus t, e to the power 2 minus t again. Then 1 to t, e to the power minus lambda, e to the power plus lambda. So it is d lambda. Just I'm not going through any step jump, so that all of you can identify, understand it equally. It is to the power minus t, then e square minus 1 by 2 plus it is 2 minus 1 as usual. So it is e to the power minus t, e square minus 1 by 2 plus e square. So you can simplify it. It will be e square by 2 plus e square. So 3 e square by 2 minus this one. So our phi t equal to where t is in between 2 and 4. Okay, next case 4. Case 4, what happens? X lambda, this is e to the power lambda, this is e to the power 2 minus lambda. Now, for the second function, it is minus 4 plus t. Now it will be going that way, t. So our overlapping will be here. That is our overlapping. So for the first part of the first function, there is a partial overlapping. But for the second part, there is a complete overlapping. The second function is gradually sliding out. The overlap is possible when minus 4 plus t, it is greater than 0, and minus 4 plus t is less than 1. Okay. And also our t is greater than 2. T is greater than 2. Let's identify the case. T is greater than 4 and t is less than 5 and t is greater than 2. Note that when t is greater than 4, t greater than 2 is automatically satisfied, and t less than 5. So our t is in between 4 and 5. Oh, 4 and 5. That condition will be satisfied. But we have to place one equality. So put equality here, here, and here. This one. Clear? So that is the range. So what's about our integration? It is minus 4 plus t to 1. That is one part overlap. And then 1 to 2. Okay. So I do it in the next page, page number 5. Here for our phi t, I write it directly minus 4 plus t to 1, then 1 to 2. Then for the first function, it is e to the power lambda. For the second, it is e to the power minus t minus lambda of d lambda. Here also e to the power lambda. No, oh, sorry. For the second part, it will be e to the power 2 minus lambda. So not e to the power lambda. So it will be e to the power 2 minus lambda and e to the power minus t minus lambda d lambda. So I put e to the power minus t outside. 1 e to the power 2 lambda d lambda plus e to the power 2 minus t 1 to 2 e to the power minus lambda e to the power plus lambda d lambda. Okay. So it is e to the power minus t just substituting values. E to the power minus t. This is e square minus put lambda. So 2 into minus 4 plus t, that value, by 2 plus e to the power 2 minus t into 2 minus 1 as usual. Put e to the power minus t here. So e square minus, it is what? E to the power minus 8, I think. And e to the power 2t. If I am not wrong, it will be the thing. So check, it is e square. Okay. Or e to the power minus t. So e square minus e to the power minus 8. 2t plus 2 e square by 2. Or it is, so 2 e square plus 3 e square. 3 e square it will be. So 3 square minus, better I write, take 2 as a common. So t minus 4 to look good actually. So better I do it this way. There. So that is our answer. So our, and okay, I am not writing it. This is for t in between 4 and 5. Okay, let's start. Okay, so it is relation 3, relation 4. This is our relation 4. Okay, so phi t. But our things are not yet complete. It's case 4. Now the trailing edge should advance somewhat more also. It should cross 1. That will be our case 5. So case 5. This is 1. Minus 4 plus t is t lambda. So e to the power lambda, e to the power 2 minus lambda. This is our x lambda. This is our g t minus lambda, or e to the power minus t minus lambda. That one. So our overlapping will be from minus 4 plus t to 2. Okay. And what is the condition? I write it in the next page. When minus 4 plus t is greater than 1 and less than 2, and t is greater than 2. These are the conditions. So go to the next page, page number 6. So minus 4 plus t, it should be greater than 1 and less than 2. Greater than 1 and less than 2. And t is greater than 2. T is greater than 2. So let's identify. So minus 4 plus t is, it is greater than 1. Minus 4 plus t is less than 2. T is greater than 2. From that we get t greater than 5, t less than 6, and t greater than 2. Now when t is already greater than 5, it is automatically that the t greater than 2 is satisfied. So our t is in between 5 and 6. Now equality is here in the 5. So here, here, here. So that is the condition, t is in between 5 and 6. So our phi t is, note that here overlapping is in between minus 4 plus t to 2. 2. Where it is e to the power minus, so our x is e to the power 2 minus lambda. Our x is e to the power 2 minus lambda first function into g's as usual. That one. Or we can take e to the power minus t outside. E to the power 2 minus t. Again, repeatedly I am just missing the power 2. E to the power minus lambda, e to the power plus lambda. So d lambda. So it is 2 minus of lambda is minus 4 plus t. So it is, we can write it 2 minus t into, it is 6 minus t. Okay, or the constant term can be written here. If you want, you can write it that way also. Same. So it is in between 5 and 6. It is 5. Therefore, our finally, and now note that when it goes out of 2, there is no more overlapping and phi t will be 0. So now finally you can jot down all the lists from relation 1, then another relation 2, relation 3, relation 4, relation 5. Okay, we can summarize all the things here. Case 1 means it is, okay, half of e to the power t minus e to the power minus t when t is in between 0 and 1. Next, case 2 is, it is e to the power minus t e square minus 1 by 2 plus e square t minus 1. Okay, when t is in between 1 and 2. Okay, sorry. No, it's okay. E square minus 1 e square t minus 1. It's okay. Then case 3, e to the power minus t 3 e square minus 1 by 2 when t is in between 2 and 4. 2 and 4, that. Then case 4, our case 4 is this one, that expression. So it is e to the power minus t 3 e square minus e 2 t minus 4 by 2 when t is in between 4 and 5. And finally, case 5 is e square 6 minus t to the power minus t when t is in between 5 and 6. It is 0 otherwise. So that is our final result, convolution. So that is our convolution. Clear? Now once we know this, so that is the method of having graphical convolution. Now, now one more thing, you must consider that what is the width of x lambda or xt rather. Our width of xt is 2. Width of g is what? Second function is 4, 0 to 4. And what is the width of our resulting convolution? It is 0 to 6. Okay, so note that width of phi t will be always equal to width of xt plus width of gt. So here this is 6, this is 2, and this is 4. That will be always satisfied. And note that our second function, it is sliding. Okay, it started sliding from this side, gradually it is advancing. Okay, so it is gradually advancing. So our overlapped area changes. So our overlapping area changes. It's going this way. Okay, so it is there. The second function is called a scanning function. The second function is called scanning function. it scans the first function. It scans the first function. Consider that, say, there is a system that is used to make a videography of some targeted body, targeted person. So one person, okay, his or her movement is the input. And when we use our handycam or any other movie camera, that is that serves as the scanning function. So when we just slide the movie camera over the movement of the person, then we get some output in terms of a number of frames. So our movie camera is the scanning function, and the scanning function is applied to the targeted person. The result is what? The result is a series of frames that are played back to make the impression of some moving person. The second function is the scanning function, therefore, or the sliding function also sometimes we say. Clear? So ultimately that is the concept of convolution. Now I want to say that now in this context some important properties of convolution. So page number 7. So properties of convolution. Properties of convolution. Number 1. Say f1t, when it's convolved with f2t, we can interchange their position. It is which property? You know, commutative property. Commutative property. Next to is f3t convolved with f1t and a convolution of f2t. We can change the order. It will be f3t convolution of f1t, that, and this one with f2t is now taken outside. This is our associative property. Okay. So we can interchange them. It means that we have one system, okay, where f3 is the input, some phi t. So that is the convolution of f1t and f2t. Now if we interchange, if we apply f2t as the input and say here f1t here and f3t here, okay, it means it is f1t convolved with f3t. So ultimately it is, which is also equal to f3t convolved with f1t. So it is our phi t. We can interchange them by commutative property. I have not shown it for commutative property. The result is same, phi t. Okay. Next is f3t convolution with f1t plus f2t. That is equal to f3t convolution with f1t plus f3t convolution with f2t. That is our distributive property. What is that? Okay, consider one system F3T. Okay, now this is applied to one F1T. Okay, so result is F3T star F1T, that is the convolution. And the same thing is applied to F2T. So result is F3T convolution with F2T. Okay, so what is when we add them plus and plus, when we add them, our result is some phi t. That is the addition of this. Or if we now the two systems here, we say that they are connected in parallel. So it is F1T plus F2T. If we just add the two system function, that is the impulse response of the two function. If we add them, the result will be same, actually phi t. No change. Okay, same actually. So it is distributive property. Clear? Next, property number 4, page number 8. If phi t equal to F1T convolution with F2T, or we can write it integration F1 lambda F2 T minus lambda d lambda, then d phi t dt, derivative property, is what? Note that this is the second one is the function of t, not the first one. So you can write F1 lambda F2 dash T minus lambda d lambda, or we can write F1 lambda convolved with F2 dash lambda. So that is our d phi dt. This is called derivative property. Sometimes we have the misconception that when we take the derivative of a convolution, both the functions will undergo convolution. No, only one function will undergo, both the function will undergo derivative. No, only one function will be differentiated. The other function will remain same, no change. Okay. Alternatively, if we write if phi t equal to, now we can interchange it. Okay. That is F2 lambda F1 T minus lambda d lambda. Then d phi dt equal to, this is constant, F2 lambda F1 dash T minus lambda. Or d phi dt equal to F2t convolved with F1 dash t. Clear? Thus, we can write phi dash t equal to F1 lambda star F2 dash lambda, okay, equal to, again we can write F2t, F1t, there is a mistake, it should not be lambda, it should be t actually, because lambda is the dummy variable. Lambda is the dummy variable, here it is correct. Here also it is t. f1t star f2 dash t. So better I rewrite it. It should be better. Phi dash t equal to f1t star f2 dash t equal to f2t star f1 dash t. Now equal to, from that we can write it f2 dash t star f1t, and again we can interchange the commutative property star f2t. So it's commutative property. Property applied to derivative property. So it means that whatever be the order is not important. The important observation is when the resulting convolution function is differentiated, only one function will undergo differentiation. The other function will remain same. That is the important observation. Clear? Next. So that is our derivative property. So we can write derivative property. So better I should write it as a derivative property. Now I write integration property. Now what is that? Let's see. Now phi t equal to f1 lambda star f2, sorry, f1t star f2t or f2t star f1t. That's the commutative property we know. Or in terms of integration, it will be f1 lambda f2t minus lambda d lambda, or f2 can be considered as the first function f2 lambda f1 t minus lambda d lambda, that we know. Now we apply integration minus infinity to t phi t dt. Why the upper limit is t? Because once we put upper limit as a t, the whole thing will become a function of t. Okay, the result is a t here is a dummy variable, just inner t, but the outer t is the actual limit. If you are confused, you can do one thing, you can put some different dummy variable. You can write phi u du integration minus infinity to t. Once you put the limits, the resulting function will become a function of t only. U will vanish after integration and substitution of limit. So that thing we can write. Here we are integrating it. Clear? So it will be minus infinity to t. We put the phi t, that one. So minus infinity to plus infinity. We can write f1 lambda, the first one, f2 t minus lambda, d lambda and dt, or we can interchange it. Okay, it is minus infinity to plus infinity f1 lambda, then minus infinity to t, we can write it f2 t minus lambda d lambda. Okay, that one. No, we write it dt, then we write d lambda. After we put this, it will be d lambda. Here. So it is what? It is actually the integration of the second function. It is the integration of the second function. So when we just apply integration of the resulting convolution function, our first function will remain unchanged. Only here the second function is undergoing integration. So it's not yet complete. I'll write it in the next page. Okay, page number 9. Therefore, our phi minus 1t. Minus 1 means not the to the power minus 1. Dash means or 1 means the order of derivative. It is the order of integration. Minus 1 is a symbol. Phi minus 1t. That is integration minus infinity to plus infinity. F1 lambda. F2 minus 1. T minus lambda d lambda. Actually, this thing is written as F2 minus 1. F2 minus 1 means it is the integration actually. Integration of F2. Alternatively, phi minus 1t equal to, you can write, if you interchange first function and second function, it will be F2 lambda, F1 minus 1, T minus lambda, D lambda. Okay. Therefore, we can write phi minus 1t equal to F1t converted with F2 minus 1t or F2t converted with F1 minus 1t. These are the integration property, and then we can apply commutative property. You can interchange them. F2 minus 1t converted with F1t, then F1 minus 1t convolution with F2t. So, commutative property applied to integration. Integration. So that is our integration property. আমি পড়াচ্ছি নিশ্চিন্ত থাকো। এই বলে ঘুম থেকে তুলেছে। আচ্ছা। Next is now combining differentiation and কালিটা শেষ। Combining differentiation and integration property. Here, now phi t equal to integration f1 lambda f2 t minus lambda d lambda, or f2 lambda f1 t minus lambda d lambda. Now we differentiate it n times. N times. What it will be? Phi nt, not the power. Please note, this is not the power. Phi nt, the order of the derivative. So it is f1 lambda f2 n t minus lambda d lambda. Or we can write f1 t star f2 nt. Or we can apply commutative property f2nt star f1t. Okay, that one. Again, phi n t can be written as now f2 as a first function, f2 lambda, f1 n t minus lambda, or f1 or f2 t star f1 n t, or commutative property f1 n t star f2 t. Clear? So that is our thing. Now, so these all four things are equal. Now all four things are equal. Now we write performing m integrations, or integration m times actually, on phi n t. What it will be? So just integration is the inverse operation of differentiation. So we get it will be phi n minus mt. So minus is the integration operation. So it will be f2n lambda. Okay. Say we are taking these as f1 minus m t minus lambda d lambda, or f1 minus mt f1 minus m f2n. Also phi n minus mt equal to it is f1 n lambda f2 minus m t minus lambda d lambda, or it will be f1 nt star f2 minus m t. So in any combination, we can write the whole thing. Okay, in any combination we can write this. So one function is undergoing differentiation of nth order, the other function is undergoing integration of mth order, and they are undergoing convolution finally. Clear? So that is the convolution. And our last property here is, not last, one more is there. So I am going to page number 10. Page number 10, it is the property number 7. Fifth property. If phi t is the convolution of if phi t equal to f1 t star f2 t, then phi t minus t0 is the time shift, is either the convolution of f1 t minus t0 with f2 t, or it is f1 t convolution with f2 t minus t0. So only one function will undergo the time shift, not both. Okay. And our final property is the property related to, I already told you, width of functions. Just very shortly, previously I told you that width of phi t is the sum of the width of f1t and f2t. Yes, that's all about the various properties of convolution. Yes. Okay. So with this, I like to stop today. Any doubt? Anything to ask? No. So today I will send the material to Pushpal, okay?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Just within 5 minutes, I will send you the material.
Okay, sir. I will share it with the class.